Force yourself to take action, and you'll find that everything else falls into place. You're not going to feel ready. You're never going to be prepared. Just do it anyway. The hardest step is always the first one. Once you take it, the rest will follow. How to Force Yourself to Take Action is written and published by Audiobooks Box. Introduction. In this book you will learn how to stop procrastinating, push through your doubts, and take consistent action, no matter how hard it feels. We've all been there, wanting to achieve something, but feeling stuck, unmotivated, or unsure where to start. The good news is, you're not alone. Every successful person has faced this struggle. The difference is, they found a way to take action, even when they didn't feel like it. And in this book, you'll discover how to do the same. You will become someone who doesn't wait for the perfect moment to act, but takes control and moves forward, step by step. This book will show you how to fight the urge to stay still and start making progress toward your goals, big or small. You'll learn how to push past your fears, build momentum, and make decisions that lead you closer to the life you want. Are you tired of waiting for motivation to hit? Want to know how to stop making excuses and start making progress? This book is for you. By the end, you'll have the tools to force yourself into action and see real results in your life. Keep reading, you won't want to miss this. Chapter 1. The Power of Choice. Your life is shaped by the choices you make. Every single day you are presented with options, whether it's to stay in your comfort zone or take a step toward something greater. It's easy to think that life happens to you, that circumstances control your destiny. But the truth is, you control your actions, and through those actions, you shape your life. Every choice you make, no matter how small it seems, has the power to move you closer to or further from your goals. It's time to stop waiting for the right moment or the perfect circumstances. You have the power to decide right now, to take action, to choose the life you want to live. The concept of choice can sometimes feel overwhelming because the weight of decisions seems too heavy. But the reality is, the ability to choose is one of the most empowering things you have. You might not always have control over the events that happen to you, but you always have control over how you respond. This is where your true power lies. You don't need to wait for life to give you the green light. Every day you get to decide, will you act or stay stagnant? Will you push forward or hold back? When you understand that every action you take is a choice, you begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Instead of looking at the challenges you face as roadblocks, see them as chances to make a decision that moves you forward. When things get tough, it's not the situation itself that defines you, it's how you choose to react to it. Do you choose to quit, to let the weight of the world drag you down, or do you choose to push through and find a way forward? Making the decision to take action, even in the face of fear or uncertainty, is where growth happens. Growth doesn't happen when you stay in your comfort zone or when you wait for the world to change around you. It happens when you take a step, however small, in the direction of your dreams. The power of choice is about understanding that you don't have to wait for everything to line up perfectly before you act. Waiting for the perfect time is just an excuse to delay your progress. The truth is, the perfect time doesn't exist. The right moment is right now. The key is to make the choice to start, even if you don't know all the answers. You don't need to know every step of the journey, just the next one. Focus on the immediate decision at hand. You don't need to make every choice perfect. You just need to make it. Action, no matter how imperfect, leads to growth, and that growth builds momentum. When you make choices that align with your values, you build confidence in your ability to take action. Every decision becomes a step towards your personal development. And remember, you don't have to make big life-altering choices every day. It's the little consistent choices that matter most. What you choose today will affect who you become tomorrow. Embrace the power of choice. Take responsibility for your decisions and stop blaming circumstances for where you are in life. The power is always within you to take action, to choose to move forward, and to create the future you want. When you stop waiting and start choosing, you begin to realize that your life is in your hands. Take control, make the choice to act now. Chapter 2. The enemy of action. Procrastination. Procrastination is the silent killer of progress. It lures you into thinking that you have more time, that you can push things off until tomorrow, or that the task at hand isn't urgent. But it's a lie. The truth is, every moment you delay is a moment lost. The longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to take that first step. Procrastination is a trap that keeps you stuck in place, convincing you that there will always be time later. But later never comes. It's time to face this enemy head on. It's easy to convince yourself that putting things off won't hurt. After all, there's always another day. But deep down, you know that the longer you avoid action, the harder it becomes to start. Every time you procrastinate, you reinforce the habit of inaction. This becomes a cycle. You delay, you feel guilty, you delay again, and the cycle continues. But each delay weakens your resolve. It convinces you that tomorrow will be better, that you'll feel more motivated, that you'll have more energy. But tomorrow is never guaranteed. The only time you have is right now. One of the reasons we procrastinate is the fear of failure. We convince ourselves that if we don't start, we can't fail. But in reality, not starting is the greatest failure of all. When you procrastinate, you rob yourself of the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. Every action, no matter how small, leads to progress. Even if things don't go perfectly, you gain experience, you gain clarity, and you move one step closer to your goal. When you avoid action, you remain stagnant. You stay stuck in the same place, never getting any closer to the life you want. The key to overcoming procrastination is to take immediate action, no matter how small it is. It's about breaking the cycle and building momentum. The hardest part is always the beginning. Once you take that first step, it's easier to keep going. Start with a small task. Don't wait for the perfect time or for motivation to strike. Motivation doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. The more you do, the more motivated you become. Another reason procrastination thrives is the overwhelming nature of big tasks. When you look at a project as a whole, it can seem impossible to tackle. But the solution is simple. Break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Focus on the next action, not the entire task. Once you take that first step, you'll realize that the task isn't as daunting as it first seemed. Small, consistent actions build up over time and lead to massive results. Procrastination is also a form of self-sabotage. It's a way of avoiding discomfort. But progress isn't comfortable. It requires you to step out of your comfort zone and push through resistance. When you push through procrastination, you're choosing discomfort over stagnation. The discomfort of action will always be less painful than the regret of never starting. To defeat procrastination, you must change your mindset. Stop seeing tasks as burdens and start seeing them as opportunities. Every task you complete is a victory, no matter how small. Every action you take brings you one step closer to the person you want to become. Procrastination only wins if you let it. Choose to act. Stop waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. Take that first step, and the rest will follow. Chapter 3. The importance of discipline. Discipline is the backbone of success. Without it, your dreams remain just that. Dreams. Discipline is not about strict routines or endless rules. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to push through when distractions pull at your attention, to stay focused when the world tries to pull you off course. Discipline is the force that transforms intentions into actions and actions into results. One of the hardest things to understand is that motivation isn't always present. Some days you wake up feeling ready to conquer the world. Other days, the bed feels much more inviting. Discipline doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation can be fleeting, but discipline stays. It's the ability to do the right thing, not because you feel like it, but because you know it's necessary. When you rely solely on motivation, you're setting yourself up for inconsistency. But when you develop discipline, you build a habit of getting things done, no matter how you feel. Discipline is about making decisions that align with your long-term goals rather than your immediate desires. It's about prioritizing what's important over what's easy. For example, skipping that workout may feel good in the moment, but the consequence of that decision is a step away from your fitness goals. On the other hand, pushing through the discomfort of working out is an investment in your future health. Discipline requires you to delay immediate gratification for long-term rewards. Every decision you make in favor of discipline is a step toward becoming the person you want to be. One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it's only about big, monumental tasks. In reality, it's the small daily habits that shape your success. Consistency is key. It's waking up early every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's putting in the effort, even when no one is watching. Small, consistent actions add up over time. They compound and lead to significant progress. Every small choice you make to act in alignment with your goals builds your discipline. Over time, these actions become second nature, and discipline becomes a part of who you are. Another crucial aspect of discipline is self-control. Life will always offer distractions, temptations, and obstacles. But discipline teaches you to control your reactions. It's easy to get pulled in different directions, to react emotionally to every challenge. But the disciplined person learns to pause, reflect, and respond with purpose. This ability to control yourself in the face of adversity is a skill that takes time to build, but it is essential for success. Discipline is also about setting boundaries. You must learn to say no to things that don't serve your goals. This might mean saying no to a night out, to a short-term pleasure, or to things that waste your time. By setting clear boundaries, you're protecting your energy and focus for what really matters. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to make decisions that keep you on track. When you build discipline, you build confidence. You show yourself that you can rely on yourself, that you can do what you said you would do. The more you exercise discipline, the more you prove to yourself that you have control over your life. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, day after day, even when things get tough. The more you practice discipline, the more it becomes a natural part of who you are. Discipline is the key that unlocks your potential and keeps you moving toward your goals. When you commit to it, everything else will fall into place. Chapter 4. Turning thoughts into actions. Your thoughts are powerful, but without action they are just empty ideas. Every success, every change, every breakthrough starts as a thought in your mind. However, if you want to see real results, you need to turn those thoughts into something tangible. Thoughts alone won't get you anywhere. Action is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It's time to stop overthinking and start doing. Turning thoughts into actions begins with clarity. Before you can take action, you need to know what you want. Often we have a vague sense of what we want, but that's not enough. You need to be specific. Clarity in your goals gives you a clear target, something to aim for. Without this focus, your thoughts will remain scattered and your actions will be aimless. Set clear, achievable goals that you can work toward. Once you know where you're headed, it becomes easier to take the first step. Next, you need to take responsibility for your thoughts. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Negative, self-doubting thoughts can paralyze you, stopping you before you even begin. But positive, empowering thoughts can drive you forward. The difference is in how you choose to react to your thoughts. Instead of letting negative thoughts control you, you need to actively challenge them. When you think, "I can't do this," replace it with, "I can learn and grow from this." When you think, "I'm not ready," remind yourself that action breeds readiness. The more you focus on empowering thoughts, the easier it becomes to take action. Procrastination often stems from fear, and fear is rooted in overthinking. We think too much about what might go wrong, what others might think, or how we might fail. This cycle of overthinking prevents us from doing anything at all. The solution: stop thinking so much. Action doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to happen. The key to breaking through overthinking is to do something, anything. The first step might not be the right one, but it's better than staying stuck. As you act, you learn, adapt, and improve. Each step taken brings you closer to clarity and progress. Another important aspect of turning thoughts into actions is building momentum. Once you take that first step, you create momentum that makes the next step easier. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. Once it starts, it keeps growing and gaining speed. The hardest part is getting started. After that, the process becomes smoother. The more you act, the more confident you become in your ability to keep moving forward. Remember, action doesn't always have to be big. Small, consistent steps matter just as much as giant leaps. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect conditions. There's no such thing. You won't have all the answers right away. It's in the doing that you find clarity and direction. Each small action you take makes the next step easier. Turning thoughts into actions also requires discipline and consistency. Without consistency, you'll fall back into old habits, and your thoughts will remain just that, thoughts. It's the daily commitment to take action, no matter how small, that leads to lasting change. Create routines that support your goals, hold yourself accountable, and most importantly, keep showing up, even when it feels hard. At the end of the day, it's not enough to just think about your dreams. You have to work for them. Taking action brings your thoughts to life and transforms them into reality. Your future isn't shaped by what you think about, it's shaped by what you do. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now with the next small step. That's how you turn thoughts into actions and create the life you want. Chapter 5. The Daily Rituals of Success. Success isn't something that happens overnight. It's built through daily rituals that compound over time. The most successful people in the world don't just get lucky, they put in the work every single day. These daily rituals aren't about doing something extreme. They're about consistency. They're about showing up day after day and doing the small things that add up to big results. One of the first things you need to understand is that success starts in the morning. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. A strong morning routine doesn't require hours of preparation, but it does require intention. The most successful people wake up early. They take time for themselves, even if it's just for a few minutes. It might be a cup of coffee, a short workout, or a few minutes of quiet reflection. These small rituals get the mind and body ready for the challenges of the day. Your morning routine should be tailored to your needs. It's not about copying what others do. It's about finding what works for you. Maybe it's writing down your goals for the day, or maybe it's reading something that inspires you. The key is to make your morning routine something that empowers you and sets you up for success. It's about starting the day with purpose, not just letting the day happen to you. Discipline plays a huge role in these rituals. You don't need to be perfect. What matters is consistency. When you make these rituals a part of your daily life, they begin to shape who you are. They build momentum. They create a rhythm that makes success feel natural, not forced. The more you practice these rituals, the easier it becomes to keep going, even when life gets in the way. Another key element is goal setting. Successful people don't leave their success to chance. They set clear, specific goals, and they don't just set goals. They break them down into manageable tasks. Every day is an opportunity to move closer to those goals. It's not enough to simply want success. You have to plan for it. Every day, ask yourself, what can I do today to get closer to my goals? It might be a small step, but it's still progress. And progress, no matter how small, is key. Exercise is another daily ritual that fuels success. It's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good. Physical health and mental clarity are deeply connected. When you make time for exercise, you're investing in both your body and your mind. It gives you energy, it boosts your mood, and it helps you stay focused throughout the day. It doesn't have to be a long workout. Just a short burst of physical activity can make a difference. Throughout the day, it's important to stay focused on your priorities. Successful people don't let distractions derail them. They know how to block out the noise and stay focused on what matters. This means turning off notifications, setting boundaries, and protecting your time. Success requires focus, and focus requires discipline. Your daily rituals should help you stay on track and make sure you're always moving forward, even when things get busy. At the end of the day, reflection is just as important as action. Take time each evening to review your day. What went well? What could you have done better? This practice of self-reflection allows you to adjust and improve continuously. It's about learning from each day and using that knowledge to do better tomorrow. Daily rituals are the foundation of success. They don't require grand gestures, they simply require consistency. When you commit to your rituals, you commit to your success. You choose to show up, no matter what, and over time this commitment pays off. Success is not an accident, it's the result of the small daily actions that you take with intention and discipline. Chapter 6. Fear and Action. Facing your fears. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that holds people back. It keeps them stuck in place, paralyzed by what-ifs and doubts. Fear tells you to play it safe, to stay in your comfort zone, and to avoid taking risks. But what fear doesn't tell you is that it's also a sign that you're on the verge of growth. Every time you feel fear, you're facing something that could push you closer to the person you want to be. The key to overcoming fear is not in avoiding it, but in facing it. Fear thrives on avoidance. The more you try to run from it, the stronger it becomes. But the moment you face your fears, they lose their grip on you. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the the fear of not being good enough, they all start to fade when you take action. When you take that first step, even in the face of fear, you begin to dismantle its power. Start by identifying the source of your fear. Often fear is vague and hard to define. It's that nagging feeling that something isn't right, but you don't know what. The first step is to name it. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Once you can identify your fear, it becomes easier to deal with. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. Whatever it is, acknowledging it takes away its mystery and makes it more manageable. Next, challenge your fear. Question whether it's truly rational. Most of the time, fear exaggerates the consequences. We imagine the worst-case scenario, but when we look at the facts, we realize that the actual risk is often much smaller than we thought. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often the worst-case scenario isn't as bad as you think, and the rewards of facing your fear far outweigh the risks. Taking action, even small action, is the antidote to fear. When you take action, you start to build confidence. Each step you take toward your fear weakens its hold on you. The more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges. You're not going to die because you're afraid. In fact, you're going to grow stronger. Fear also feeds on indecision. The longer you wait to act, the more power you give to fear. The moment you make a decision to move forward, fear begins to lose its grip. Even if your action is imperfect, it's still a step in the right direction. Taking action forces you to confront your fear head-on and pushes you past it. Waiting, on the other hand, keeps you stuck. It's also important to remember that fear is a natural part of the growth process. Everyone experiences fear, no one is immune to it. But successful people don't let fear stop them. They use it as fuel. They understand that fear is a signal that they are pushing their limits, and that's exactly where they need to be. Fear means you're on the edge of something new, something important. If you're not feeling fear, then you're not growing. Finally, embrace failure as a part of the process. Fear of failure is one of the biggest obstacles to action. But failure isn't the end of the road, it's part of the journey. Every failure is a lesson, and every lesson brings you closer to success. You don't learn how to succeed by avoiding failure, you learn by facing it head-on. When you accept failure as a possibility, fear loses its power over you. Facing your fears isn't easy, but it's necessary. Every time you act, despite your fear, you build momentum. Every small action you take weakens the hold that fear has on you. The more you face your fears, the easier it becomes to keep moving forward. Fear will always be a part of the process, but it doesn't have to control you. Take action, and you'll find that fear has less power than you thought. Chapter 7. Embracing imperfection. Perfectionism is one of the biggest barriers to action. We often hold ourselves back, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of ourselves. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. It's an unreachable standard that stops us from moving forward. Waiting for everything to be perfect is the surest way to ensure nothing gets done. The first step to embracing imperfection is understanding that mistakes are part of the process. No one achieves success without stumbling along the way. If you wait for the perfect plan or the ideal set of circumstances, you'll never get started. Imperfection isn't something to be feared or avoided. It's a sign that you're making progress. It's a sign that you're taking action, even when things aren't ideal. Every mistake is a lesson, and every lesson is a step toward growth. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you give yourself permission to take risks. You stop worrying about what others might think and focus on what you can learn. You stop trying to control every detail and instead embrace the unpredictability of the journey. Life doesn't work according to a perfect plan, and neither does success. What matters most is not how flawlessly you execute your plans, but how determined you are to keep going despite the setbacks. Imperfection also helps you build resilience. The more you face challenges, the more you learn to adapt. Each imperfection forces you to get creative and find new solutions. It's easy to stay motivated when things are going perfectly. It's much harder to keep going when things go wrong. But this is where growth happens. When you face challenges and learn from them, you build mental toughness. Imperfection pushes you to grow, to find new ways of doing things, and to keep moving forward even when things don't go as planned. Letting go of perfection also means letting go of fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not being enough. Perfectionism feeds these fears, making them seem much larger than they actually are. When you embrace imperfection, you release yourself from the weight of these fears. You stop worrying about being judged for making mistakes and start focusing on what you can control: your actions. The more you act despite imperfection, the less power fear has over you. Embracing imperfection is also about accepting that growth takes time. Success doesn't happen overnight, and it's rarely a straight line. There will be setbacks, missteps, and mistakes along the way. But every mistake is part of the learning process. Each misstep teaches you something you didn't know before, and that knowledge is what will help you move forward. When you accept that imperfection is a natural part of growth, you stop expecting instant results. You begin to appreciate the journey and trust that progress is happening, even when it doesn't look perfect. Finally, embracing imperfection allows you to focus on what matters. You stop chasing unattainable goals and start focusing on the things that truly move you forward. The need to be perfect can be paralyzing. It keeps you stuck in a state of inaction. When you let go of perfectionism, you free yourself to take meaningful steps toward your goals. You start valuing progress over perfection, action over waiting, and growth over flawless execution. In the end, perfection doesn't lead to success, action does. And imperfection is what makes action possible. The more you embrace imperfection, the more you free yourself to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. The sooner you accept that imperfection is part of the journey, the sooner you'll start making real progress toward your goals. Chapter 8. Accountability. The power of support. Accountability is often the missing link between intention and action. It's easy to make plans and set goals when you're alone, but without someone to hold you accountable, those goals can quickly fade into nothingness. Having someone to support you, challenge you, and remind you of your commitments makes all the difference. Accountability doesn't just help you stay on track, it forces you to act. The power of accountability lies in its ability to push you past your excuses. When you know someone else is counting on you, or even just checking in on your progress, it's much harder to put things off. Accountability makes you more responsible. It turns vague intentions into concrete actions because you realize that your success isn't just about you anymore. It's about living up to your word and showing others that you're committed to your goals. One of the most powerful forms of accountability is sharing your goals with someone else. When you tell someone about your plans, you set a standard for yourself. You've made your goal public, and that creates a sense of obligation. It's much harder to quit or delay when someone is holding you to what you said you would do. By sharing your aspirations with others, you create a built-in support system that helps you stay focused, motivated, and on track. Another important aspect of accountability is the honest feedback that comes with it. When you have someone who can offer constructive criticism and encouragement, you're less likely to fall into complacency. Feedback from someone you trust helps you recognize areas for improvement and gives you the push to correct course. It can be uncomfortable, but it's essential for growth. Without accountability, it's easy to stay stuck in your own limited perspective, but feedback opens your eyes to new possibilities. Having an accountability partner also helps you stay consistent. Consistency is the key to long-term success, but it's hard to maintain on your own. It's easy to slip into the habit of putting things off, especially when motivation wanes. When you have someone to check in with, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly, you're more likely to follow through. Even on the days when your motivation is low, the simple act of knowing someone else is expecting you to take action can be the difference between progress and procrastination. Accountability also helps you maintain focus. When life gets busy and distractions pile up, it's easy to lose sight of your goals. But when someone else is involved in your journey, they help you stay grounded in your priorities. They remind you of what you're working toward and keep you from getting sidetracked by temporary setbacks. It's easy to forget why you started when you're working alone, but an accountability partner helps you stay focused on the bigger picture. It's important to choose the right person for accountability. This isn't about finding someone who will just cheer you on or tell you what you want to hear. The right person is someone who will challenge you, hold you to your word, and push you to be better. They'll encourage you, yes, but they'll also keep you honest. This is why it's important to surround yourself with people who are committed to growth and success, not those who enable procrastination or complacency. Ultimately, accountability gives you the external motivation you need to keep going, even when things get tough. It ensures that you don't let your goals fall by the wayside, and it reminds you that progress is not a solo effort. When you have the right support, you're not just responsible for your own success, you're accountable to someone else who believes in you. That belief becomes a powerful motivator to keep pushing forward, even on the days when you want to quit. Accountability strengthens your resolve and increases your chances of turning your goals into reality. Chapter 9. The Motivation Myth. We often hear the phrase, "If you're not feeling motivated, you shouldn't do it." This belief can be paralyzing. We've all been there. You set a goal, get excited about it for a moment, but then motivation fades away. And when motivation is gone, so is the action. But the truth is, motivation is not the driving force behind success. Discipline is. The idea that we need to feel motivated to get things done is a myth. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. If you wait for motivation to strike before you act, you'll be stuck forever. Motivation is often mistaken for the energy and enthusiasm needed to complete a task. But energy can't be relied upon. It's influenced by so many factors, including your mood, environment, and external circumstances. This means that you can't depend on motivation to carry you through difficult tasks or long-term goals. If you do, you'll quickly find yourself in a cycle of starting projects with high energy, only to lose steam when the initial excitement fades. Instead of waiting for motivation, focus on building habits and routines that drive action, regardless of how you feel. The most successful people don't rely on motivation, they rely on consistency. They do the work whether they feel like it or not. This doesn't mean they don't have days when they don't want to work. It means they've learned to show up, even when the motivation isn't there. They understand that the work itself creates momentum, and momentum leads to results. When you build consistency into your life, you start to see progress without needing the motivation to push you. Discipline becomes your ally. You create small, manageable steps that you take every day, even when your enthusiasm is nowhere to be found. These small actions compound over time, and before you know it, you're making significant strides toward your goals without having to wait for motivation to kick in. Another flaw in the motivation myth is that it makes us believe that there's a right time to start. People often say, "I'll start when I'm motivated," but that moment rarely comes. The truth is, the best time to start is now, no matter how you feel. Motivation doesn't need to be present for you to take the first step. Waiting for perfect conditions or the perfect feeling is a trap that keeps you stagnant. Action always comes before motivation. You start by doing something, and then motivation follows, not the other way around. Motivation can also be misleading. We tend to think that when we feel motivated, we'll be productive and efficient, but that's not always true. Sometimes the feelings of motivation are driven by external factors, like inspiration from a book, a conversation, or a video. While these things can spark excitement, they don't guarantee results. You may feel energized for a short time, but it's the discipline of taking consistent action over the long term that leads to success. This is why relying solely on motivation can set you up for disappointment. To overcome the motivation myth, start focusing on building a system that works for you. Identify habits that push you toward your goals every single day. Break tasks down into small, actionable steps that don't require motivation to accomplish. When you build a system, you take the pressure off needing to feel a certain way. You simply do what needs to be done, and over time that consistency will create the results you want. In the end, motivation is unreliable. It may help you get started, but it's not what will carry you through to the finish line. Action, driven by discipline, is the real key to success. When you stop waiting for motivation and start taking small, consistent steps toward your goals, you'll discover that motivation is not what you need to achieve greatness. It's the willingness to show up every day, no matter how you feel. Chapter 10. Breaking down big goals. Big goals can be overwhelming. They often seem impossible, like an insurmountable mountain standing between you and your dreams. When you look at a large goal, it's easy to feel paralyzed by its size, unsure where to start. But the truth is, every big goal is made up of smaller, manageable tasks. The secret to achieving these goals lies in breaking them down into bite-sized pieces. You don't need to tackle everything at once. In fact, trying to do so will only leave you frustrated and stuck. The first step is to clearly define your big goal. Know exactly what it is you want to achieve, whether it's starting a business, losing weight, writing a book, or mastering a skill. Get specific. General goals like, "I want to be successful," or "I want to get in shape," are too vague and don't give you a clear direction. Instead, ask yourself, what exactly does success look like? What will it take to get there? Make your goal measurable and clear so you know exactly where you're heading. Once you've defined your big goal, it's time to break it down. Start by identifying the major milestones or stages that need to be accomplished to reach your end goal. These are the key steps that will take you closer to success. For example, if your goal is to write a book, your milestones might include outlining the chapters, writing a certain number of pages per week, editing, and finally publishing. When you focus on each stage separately, the goal begins to feel more manageable and less overwhelming. After you've identified your milestones, it's time to break them down even further into smaller tasks. These are the daily or weekly actions that will keep you on track. For example, if your milestone is writing a book, your smaller tasks might include writing for 30 minutes a day, researching topics, or creating a daily writing schedule. By breaking down each milestone into actionable tasks, you can approach your goal step by step without feeling like it's an impossible mountain to climb. Another key to breaking down big goals is setting realistic timelines. It's easy to get excited about a goal and rush into it, but this often leads to burnout or frustration. Set realistic deadlines for each smaller task. Be kind to yourself and give yourself enough time to complete each step thoroughly. Rushing the process often results in lower quality work, which will only lead to more stress in the long run. Accountability is another important aspect of breaking down big goals. When you have a clear structure, you can hold yourself accountable for completing each step. This can be even more effective if you share your progress with someone else. Whether it's a friend, mentor, or accountability partner, having someone to check in with can provide extra motivation and keep you on track. Lastly, celebrate the small wins along the way. Every time you complete a task or hit a milestone, take a moment to acknowledge your progress. These small victories will help maintain your motivation and remind you that you're making real progress. As you move through the smaller tasks, the bigger goal will begin to feel more achievable. Breaking down big goals is not just about managing the workload, it's about managing your mindset. By focusing on small, achievable steps, you remove the pressure and give yourself the space to succeed. With each step forward, you'll find that what once seemed like an impossible goal is now within your reach. Keep breaking it down, one task at a time, and you'll reach your big goal before you know it. Chapter 11. The power of just one thing. When the weight of multiple responsibilities bears down on you, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. The feeling that there's too much to do and not enough time to do it is common and often paralyzing. But the key to cutting through this chaos lies in a simple yet powerful mindset shift, focusing on just one thing. Instead of looking at everything you need to do and feeling stuck, break it down. The notion of focusing on one thing at a time may sound too simple, but its effectiveness cannot be overstated. By narrowing your focus, you're not only reducing the noise and distractions, but also giving yourself a clearer path to success. When you tackle the most important thing first, you eliminate the overwhelm that comes from juggling too many tasks at once. The just one thing method is about selecting the task that will move you forward, no matter how small it may seem. It's not about completing everything on your to-do list. It's about identifying that one critical action that once completed creates momentum for the next. Ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do right now that will make the biggest difference in moving closer to my goal? This one task might be small, but it's enough to create positive momentum. The power of this approach is that it forces you to take action. When you reduce your focus to just one task, you remove the endless back and forth in your mind. You eliminate the stress of trying to do everything at once, and instead direct your energy and attention on completing that single task. Whether it's writing an email, completing a short workout, or making a phone call, this one task becomes the priority. Another important aspect of focusing on just one thing is that it helps build discipline. Discipline comes from repetition and commitment. By continually choosing to take action on one task, you start creating a habit. Over time, this habit becomes easier to follow. Instead of overthinking or procrastinating, you train yourself to take decisive action. There's also the psychological benefit of accomplishing just one thing. Every time you check off that task, no matter how small, it gives you a sense of achievement. It's that small win that motivates you to keep going. This simple act of completing one thing helps build your confidence, and with each win you realize that taking action doesn't have to be as hard as you once thought. One of the most important lessons in this approach is that just one thing is not about perfection. It's about progress. Perfectionism is often what causes delays and procrastination. When you aim for perfection in every task, You get stuck in a cycle of redoing, second-guessing and hesitating. Just one thing focuses on completing something, anything, so you can move forward. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that progress is what matters most, not perfection. By constantly focusing on one thing at a time, you'll start building momentum that drives you to tackle bigger and more complex tasks. You'll notice that as you accomplish one thing after another, you begin to accomplish more over time. The sense of accomplishment you get from completing that one thing provides the momentum you need to face the next challenge. Over time, these small actions compound, and before you know it, you've made significant progress toward your bigger goals. The power of just one thing is simple but transformative. When you stop trying to do it all and commit to doing one thing that moves you forward, everything becomes clearer and more manageable. It's time to shift your focus from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered by the power of one small action at a time. Chapter 12. Understanding the power of now. Many of us live in a constant state of anticipation, always looking forward to tomorrow, next week, or some distant goal. We spend so much time thinking about what's to come that we forget to appreciate what's happening right now. But the truth is, the only moment that truly matters is the present one, and harnessing the power of now can transform your life. When we focus on the future too much, we often become paralyzed by fear or overwhelmed by what we need to do. We imagine all the obstacles, challenges, and uncertainties that could come our way, and it keeps us from taking action. The truth is, we can't control everything that lies ahead, but we can control what we do in the present moment. Now is the only time we can truly act. Learning to embrace the present moment is one of the most empowering practices you can adopt. Instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, bring your attention to the here and now. It's in the present that all progress is made. If you focus on what you can do today, you'll realize that each small action brings you closer to your goal. The idea of living in the now doesn't mean you should ignore future plans or aspirations. Rather, it's about making the most of each moment. When you invest your energy in the present, you're not just waiting for success to happen, you're actively creating it. The small actions you take right now, no matter how insignificant they seem, are the building blocks of a better future. Often we're distracted by thoughts of what we should have done or what we hope to do. These thoughts pull us away from the present and prevent us from fully engaging with the task at hand. By shifting your focus to what's in front of you, you take back your power. Instead of wasting time on regrets or fantasies, you begin to channel your energy into the current moment, and that's where real growth happens. The power of now also lies in its ability to reduce anxiety and stress. When you live in the present, you stop worrying about things you can't control. You stop imagining worst-case scenarios and focus on what's right in front of you. This shift helps you feel more grounded and capable. It removes the mental clutter and allows you to approach challenges with a clear mind and focused purpose. Living in the now is also a way of practicing gratitude. When you truly focus on the present, you become more aware of what you already have. This awareness helps you appreciate your progress, your journey, and the blessings that come with it. Gratitude is a powerful tool that shifts your mindset from lack to abundance. It helps you stay motivated and gives you the strength to continue moving forward. The power of now is all about intentional action. It's about making decisions and taking steps right now that will lead you toward the life you want. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment that matters is the one you have now. Make it count. When you embrace the present moment, you stop procrastinating and start acting. You stop waiting for motivation to strike, because you realize that motivation is often born from the simple act of doing. Take control of your life, by mastering the power of now. When you make the present moment your priority, you'll find that progress becomes inevitable. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you want to be and the life you want to live. Chapter 13. The role of self-talk. The way we speak to ourselves has a powerful impact on our actions, mindset, and outcomes. Too often, we let negative thoughts control our behavior, telling ourselves we're not good enough, capable enough, or deserving of success. This inner dialogue shapes the way we approach challenges, making it either easier or harder to take action. Self-talk is not just a passive activity, it's an active force that drives us. It can either empower us or hold us back. If your self-talk is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, it becomes much harder to take any steps toward your goals. But if you train your mind to speak to yourself with encouragement, compassion, and confidence, your ability to take action grows stronger. When you engage in positive self-talk, you're essentially giving yourself permission to succeed. It's like having your own personal cheerleader in your head, reminding you that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. This mental reinforcement can push you to take the necessary steps, even when things feel uncertain or intimidating. Self-talk also plays a crucial role in overcoming fear. Fear is often rooted in the stories we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves that we're not ready, that we'll fail, or that the task is too big. But if you shift your self-talk to focus on what you can control and how capable you are, you change the narrative. Instead of fearing failure, you start to view challenges as opportunities to grow. When you replace fear with empowering thoughts, you create a mindset that is resilient and ready to take action. One of the biggest mistakes we make is engaging in negative self-talk when we face setbacks or mistakes. Instead of acknowledging our efforts, we criticize ourselves for not doing better. This negative reinforcement only keeps us stuck. Instead of tearing yourself down when things go wrong, use your self-talk to remind yourself that setbacks are part of the journey. You can learn from them and come back stronger. Reframing failure in this way removes the shame and replaces it with motivation. Changing your self-talk requires awareness and practice. Begin by recognizing the negative patterns. Are you telling yourself that something is too hard, or that you won't be able to do it? Are you doubting your abilities before you even start? Once you notice these thoughts, challenge them. Ask yourself if they are based on facts or simply your fears. Then replace those thoughts with ones that are empowering and realistic. Remind yourself that you've faced challenges before and you've survived. Tell yourself that you are capable, and even if things don't go perfectly, you will learn and keep moving forward. Positive self-talk is also about being kind to yourself. Many of us are our own harshest critics, but this self-criticism only fuels self-doubt and makes it harder to take action. Instead, try to speak to yourself as you would a friend. Offer encouragement, support, and understanding. When you practice this, your confidence grows and taking action becomes less daunting. The role of self-talk is not just about motivating yourself, it's also about preparing your mind to face challenges with resilience. When your thoughts are filled with positive affirmations, you create a mental environment where success is possible. By mastering your inner dialogue, you can overcome obstacles with greater ease and take action with conviction. Your self-talk shapes your reality. If you want to take action and move forward in life, start by changing the way you talk to yourself. Speak to yourself with respect, confidence, and encouragement. When you do, your actions will follow, and you'll find yourself stepping into your power and achieving what you once thought impossible. Chapter 14. Building mental toughness. Mental toughness is the backbone of taking consistent action even when the road is tough, and the challenges seem overwhelming. It's what separates those who keep pushing from those who give up. It's not about being immune to stress or adversity, but about how you respond to them. Life will throw obstacles at you, and your ability to face those obstacles head-on without backing down is what defines your success. The first step in building mental toughness is accepting that challenges are inevitable. Life will not always be easy, and things won't always go your way. Instead of hoping for smooth sailing, embrace the reality that obstacles will come. The more you expect them, the less likely they are to shake you. When a setback happens, don't be surprised or defeated. Instead, view it as part of the process. Mental toughness is about resilience, how quickly you can bounce back after facing difficulty. The key here is not to avoid pain or discomfort, but to learn how to push through it. When life gets tough, it's easy to want to quit or hide, but the strong ones are those who rise after every fall. It's about keeping your eyes on the prize and continuing to move forward, even when things feel like they're falling apart. Toughness doesn't mean you don't feel the strain, but it means you push yourself to keep going despite it. Developing mental toughness also involves cultivating discipline. It's easy to do something when you feel inspired or motivated, but true mental strength is displayed in those moments when motivation fades. When you rely on discipline, you show up and do the work even when you don't feel like it. This is where growth happens. It's about doing what needs to be done, regardless of the circumstances or how you're feeling in the moment. Another vital aspect of mental toughness is the ability to control your emotions. Emotions can be a powerful driving force, but they can also lead you astray if they are left unchecked. In the heat of the moment, you might feel frustrated, angry, or defeated. It's in these moments that your mental strength is tested. Instead of letting your emotions control you, take a step back and assess the situation. Stay calm, keep your focus, and respond with clarity. By managing your emotions, you regain control of the situation and make decisions from a place of strength, not impulse. Mental toughness also requires a shift in perspective. Rather than seeing challenges as insurmountable walls, view them as opportunities to grow and learn. Every obstacle is a chance to become better, stronger, and more skilled. When you see struggles as stepping stones instead of roadblocks, you develop a mindset that embraces difficulty rather than fears it. This mindset shift helps you persevere, no matter how tough the journey gets. Building mental toughness doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice, a muscle that you must work consistently. It involves pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, confronting your fears, and refusing to quit when things get hard. But with every challenge you face, your mental toughness grows, and as you become mentally tougher, your ability to take action increases. You'll stop hesitating, stop doubting, and start doing. The stronger your mental toughness, the more unstoppable you become. You will no longer be afraid of challenges or setbacks. You'll embrace them as part of the journey and keep moving forward, no matter what life throws your way. Building mental toughness is the key to sustained success. It's what enables you to take action, stay focused, and ultimately achieve your goals. Chapter 15. The importance of rest. Rest is a vital component of achieving long-term success, and yet many people overlook its significance. They push themselves to the brink, thinking that constant work and hustle are the only paths to progress. What they fail to realize is that without proper rest, their productivity, creativity, and mental sharpness will diminish. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity for sustained action and growth. First, understand that rest is not about laziness or taking shortcuts. It's about giving your body and mind the time they need to recover. When you work relentlessly without taking breaks, you burn out. This affects not only your physical health, but also your mental well-being. Fatigue clouds judgment, reduces focus, and drains motivation. By allowing yourself regular periods of rest, you replenish your energy, allowing you to approach each task with renewed strength and clarity. Rest doesn't mean you have to stop everything. It's about taking intentional pauses to recharge. This can be a good night's sleep, a walk outside, or simply stepping away from work for a few moments during the day. These breaks give you the space to let your mind reset. When you come back to your tasks after a rest, you'll find that you work faster and more efficiently. This is because you're approaching the task with a fresh perspective, free from mental exhaustion. When you rest, you also allow your brain to process and consolidate information. It's during moments of rest that your mind does some of its most important work. While you might think that taking a break is wasted time, your subconscious is busy sorting through problems, finding solutions, and making connections that were difficult to see in the heat of the moment. Rest is when creativity thrives and new ideas emerge. Without it, you hinder your own potential to innovate and improve. Another key benefit of rest is that it helps to manage stress. Constant work without breaks leads to anxiety, tension, and overwhelm. When you give yourself time to rest, you allow your body to lower its stress levels. You'll notice that you feel less tense and more capable of handling challenges. This is because rest helps restore your body's natural equilibrium, so you can face problems with a calm and focused mindset. Physical health also relies heavily on rest. When you're constantly on the go, your body doesn't have time to repair itself. Muscles grow stronger, and the immune system functions better when you rest. If you're pushing through fatigue, you're doing a disservice to your body. Not only are you hurting your physical well-being, but you're also impairing your ability to take action and make progress in the long run. The best achievers know that success isn't just about hard work, it's about working smart. This means recognizing the importance of rest and understanding its role in maintaining peak performance. Pushing yourself past the point of exhaustion might get short-term results, but it won't sustain you in the long run. To stay consistent, you need balance. Rest is essential for recovery, focus, and overall well-being. Remember, taking time to rest doesn't mean you're giving up or slacking off. It's an investment in yourself. It's about ensuring that when you do work, you're working at your best. Embrace rest as part of your routine, not as something that's optional or dispensable. Your ability to take action and make progress depends on your willingness to take care of yourself. Rest is not only vital to your success, but it's also a sign of respect for your own well-being. Chapter 16. Focus, your superpower. Focus is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. It's a skill that can make all the difference between success and failure. Without focus, even the best ideas and the hardest work will amount to nothing. Focus allows you to direct your energy toward your goals, shutting out distractions and staying committed to the task at hand. When you focus, you harness your mind's full potential. The problem is, in today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, constant notifications, and even well-meaning people can pull you away from what truly matters. But when you master focus, you control your attention, and with that control comes the power to achieve whatever you set your mind to. The key to focus is eliminating distractions. This doesn't just mean turning off your phone or closing your email. It's about creating an environment where your mind can fully engage with your work. If you're always jumping between tasks, your brain never gets the chance to fully immerse itself in what you're doing. This scattered energy leads to inefficiency and frustration. The power of focus lies in concentration and the ability to give undivided attention to a single task. Developing focus requires practice. It's not something that happens overnight. You have to train your mind to resist the urge to multitask. Multitasking might seem productive, but it only spreads your attention thin. Instead, commit to one task at a time. Give it your all, then move on to the next. This creates momentum, and momentum drives progress. You'll also need to manage your energy. Focus is demanding. It requires mental energy, and if you're running on empty, it's harder to concentrate. This is why rest, as discussed earlier, is so important. When your body and mind are well rested, focus becomes much easier to maintain. Being physically and mentally sharp enhances your ability to concentrate for longer periods, allowing you to produce better work in less time. Another aspect of focus is setting clear priorities. Without knowing what's most important, it's easy to get sidetracked by irrelevant tasks. You must have a clear vision of what you want to achieve and break it down into actionable steps. This gives you a roadmap and keeps you focused on what matters. When you understand your goals and break them down into small, manageable tasks, staying focused becomes much easier. Focus also requires self-discipline. It's about training yourself to push past distractions, whether internal or external. It's about saying no to things that will pull you off course and staying true to your commitment. You will face moments where distractions seem more appealing, but when you're able to focus, you will find that the rewards of sustained effort are far greater than the temporary relief of avoiding work. The ability to focus is what separates the successful from the average. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of life, but the truly successful people know how to silence that noise and concentrate on their goals. They understand that nothing worthwhile comes easily, and focus is what fuels their persistence. It's the driving force behind every achievement, every milestone, and every victory. When you make focus your superpower, you unlock your full potential. You achieve more in less time. You make better decisions. You improve the quality of your work. Most importantly, you build the habits that lead to success. Focus is the ultimate tool for getting things done, and when you master it, nothing can stop you. Chapter 17. Taking action despite self-doubt. Self-doubt is something everyone faces at some point. It creeps in when you're about to take a step forward, and suddenly, all your fears and insecurities rise to the surface. You question your abilities, your worth, and whether you're capable of succeeding. But the truth is, self-doubt is just a feeling, not a fact. It doesn't determine your worth or your ability to achieve greatness. It's simply a part of the process of growth. The first step in overcoming self-doubt is understanding that it's normal. Everyone, from the most successful entrepreneurs to the world's top athletes, experiences doubt. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is their ability to act despite it. Instead of allowing self-doubt to paralyze them, they use it as fuel to push forward. They don't wait until they feel ready, because they know that readiness comes through action, not thinking. One of the most powerful ways to push through self-doubt is to take action, no matter how small. Action breaks the grip of doubt. When you take that first step, you gain momentum, and with momentum comes confidence. The more you act, the less power self-doubt has over you. You may not feel sure of yourself at first, but you'll feel more capable after each step you take. It's about building evidence that you can do it, even when your mind says you can't. Another critical element in taking action despite self-doubt is reframing failure. Many people avoid taking action because they fear failure, but failure is often where the most growth happens. Instead of seeing failure as a defeat, view it as a lesson. Each setback provides an opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve. The most successful people fail multiple times before they achieve their goals, but they don't let those failures stop them. They take the lessons learned and apply them in their next attempt. When you push past self-doubt and take action, you not only prove to yourself that you are capable, but you also build resilience. You become more comfortable with discomfort and uncertainty. The more you do things that make you uncomfortable, the less power fear has over you. Self-doubt becomes less intimidating, and taking action becomes more natural. Surrounding yourself with a supportive network can also help. When you have people who believe in you and remind you of your strengths, it's easier to ignore the negative thoughts in your mind. They can help you push forward when self-doubt tries to stop you. Having that external support system can act as a powerful reminder that you are not alone in your struggles. The bottom line is that self-doubt will always be there, but it doesn't need to control your actions. The most successful people are not the ones who never doubt themselves. They are the ones who take action despite their doubts. They use doubt as a signal to move forward, not a reason to retreat. So take that first step, even when you feel uncertain. The more you act, the less you'll doubt yourself, and the closer you'll get to reaching your goals. Chapter 18. The Power of Small Wins. Success is often seen as this massive, unreachable goal, something so far away that it feels out of touch. People often underestimate the power of small wins, but those little victories add up to big results. Every achievement, no matter how small, is a step forward. It's easy to focus on the end result, but it's the small steps that lead you there. When you reach for a big goal, it can feel overwhelming. You start thinking about how much work it will take and how far away the end result is. That's where small wins come in. Each small success you achieve builds your confidence and motivation, propelling you toward your larger goal. Small wins provide momentum. They help you push past doubts and keep moving forward. Instead of focusing on the end result, break your goal into smaller, more manageable tasks. Each time you accomplish one of those tasks, celebrate the win. Whether it's finishing a chapter of a book, completing a workout, or crossing something off your to-do list, those moments matter. They are evidence that you are making progress, and they remind you that success is within reach. Small wins also help you build consistency. One small action repeated daily is more powerful than one massive action taken all at once. The process of showing up every day, even when the results seem insignificant, leads to exponential growth. The key is consistency. Every small step you take strengthens your habits and lays a solid foundation for bigger accomplishments. The power of small wins also lies in how they build your mindset. When you achieve something, no matter how small, your brain gets a boost of dopamine, the chemical associated with happiness and reward. This positive reinforcement makes you feel good about the progress you're making, which in turn motivates you to keep going. The more you experience these wins, the more you crave that feeling, and the more you push yourself. These small wins can also help shift your mindset from one of doubt to one of possibility. They remind you that you are capable of achieving success, even if it's just one small step at a time. Instead of feeling defeated by the size of the task, you begin to see the progress you're making. You realize that success isn't just one big leap. It's a series of small steps that lead to something much bigger. When you focus on the small wins, you build resilience. You learn to keep going, even when the bigger picture seems distant. These wins serve as reminders that the journey is just as important as the destination. They teach you that success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect outcome. It's about taking consistent action, no matter how small, and trusting that those actions will add up over time. The next time you feel overwhelmed by a big goal, remind yourself that every small win is a step closer. Each small victory is a piece of the puzzle that will eventually lead to success. Keep showing up, keep taking action, and celebrate those small wins along the way. You'll be amazed at how much progress you can make simply by focusing on the small victories that add up to big results. Chapter 19. Staying consistent when it gets hard. Staying consistent is the true test of your commitment. It's easy to show up when things are going smoothly, but the real challenge begins when it gets tough. You will face moments when every part of you wants to quit, when the pressure feels too much and the progress feels too slow. These are the moments that define you. The key to staying consistent is remembering why you started in the first place. It's easy to get lost in the grind and forget the bigger picture. When things get hard, refocus on your end goal. Think about the reason you're pushing through the struggle. Your purpose will fuel you when your motivation fades. Without that connection to your goal, the work becomes meaningless. Remind yourself of the vision you're chasing and hold on to it tightly. The second part of staying consistent is developing discipline. Discipline isn't about motivation, it's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. There will be days when your energy is low and your mind is clouded with doubt. Discipline is what gets you through those days. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the right mood. It's about creating habits that stick, no matter how you feel. When consistency becomes a habit, it's no longer dependent on your emotions. Accountability plays a big role in consistency. Find someone who can hold you accountable, someone who knows your goals and pushes you when you fall off track. It's easy to let yourself slip, but when someone else is watching, you're more likely to stay on course. This person can be a coach, a mentor, or even a friend. Accountability forces you to face the truth and reminds you of your commitment. Another important factor in staying consistent is managing your expectations. Progress is rarely linear. You won't see immediate results, and that's okay. When things get hard, it's tempting to judge yourself based on how quickly or how much you're accomplishing. But consistency is about putting in the work day after day, without obsessing over the outcome. Trust that small, consistent efforts will lead to big changes in the long run. Don't expect instant gratification. It's the slow, steady progress that makes the difference. When setbacks happen, don't let them break you. Mistakes and failures are a natural part of the journey. What matters is how you respond to them. Use setbacks as learning opportunities. Don't let them become excuses to stop. Every failure is a chance to grow and improve. The people who succeed aren't the ones who avoid mistakes. They're the ones who keep going despite them. Consistency also requires patience. Nothing great happens overnight, and the process is long. You won't always see the fruits of your labor immediately. But every day you show up and put in the work, you're getting closer to where you want to be. The results will come, but only if you're consistent in your efforts. Stay patient, stay persistent, and trust the process. The real test of your strength isn't how you perform when everything is easy. It's how you perform when it gets tough. Keep showing up, even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. Keep putting in the work, even when the results aren't obvious. Staying consistent when it gets hard is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Keep pushing forward, and you'll see that the struggle is worth it. Chapter 20. Reflecting and adjusting. Success isn't just about pushing forward relentlessly. It's also about taking the time to look back and evaluate your journey. Reflection is an essential part of growth. If you're not willing to reflect on what's working and what's not, you're bound to repeat the same mistakes and miss out on opportunities for improvement. Reflection allows you to step outside of the daily grind and see the bigger picture. It helps you identify where you've succeeded and where you still need to put in more effort. Taking time to reflect helps you gain clarity on your goals. You may realize that the direction you thought was best isn't aligned with your true objectives. Without reflection, you might continue moving down a path that's no longer serving you. When you reflect, you stop for a moment and ask yourself some hard questions. Are you really moving toward what you want? Are your daily actions aligning with your bigger goals? Are there better ways to reach the outcomes you desire? Reflection also gives you the chance to assess your mistakes. Everyone faces setbacks, but the most successful people are the ones who learn from them. Instead of letting failure dictate your future, use it as a lesson. Examine what went wrong and figure out how you can adjust your approach to avoid repeating the same errors. Mistakes are opportunities to refine your process and get better. You're not meant to get everything right from the start. Reflection helps you to view mistakes as stepping stones towards success. As you reflect, take an honest look at your habits and routines. Are they helping you or holding you back? Bad habits can sneak up on you, and if you're not paying attention, they can sabotage your progress. Reflection helps you identify what needs to change. It's a chance to shed habits that aren't serving your goals and replace them with those that will move you forward. Small daily actions, over time, compound into massive results, so ensuring they're in alignment with your goals is crucial. Adjusting isn't just about correcting mistakes, it's also about optimizing what's already working. Once you've identified areas for improvement, you need to adjust your approach. Perhaps there's a strategy that's been successful but can be taken to the next level. Maybe there's an area where you need to double down and focus more energy. The process of adjusting is about fine-tuning your efforts for maximum impact. It's also important to reflect on your mindset. Sometimes the biggest obstacle to progress is the way you think. Negative self-talk, doubt and limiting beliefs can all keep you stuck in a cycle of stagnation. Reflecting on your mindset allows you to identify these thought patterns and shift them. A positive, growth-oriented mindset is key to breaking through mental barriers and pushing forward with confidence. Ultimately, reflection and adjustment are continuous processes. Success doesn't come from one moment of clarity or a single decision. It's built over time, through a series of adjustments and improvements. The more you reflect and adjust, the better you'll get at navigating your journey. As you evolve, your goals, strategies, and habits will evolve with you. Stay open to the process, keep adjusting, and don't be afraid to course correct along the way. Your growth depends on it.